Hey guys, this is Sam with BallardPhotoVideo.com, and this week what we're going to be talking about is ISO. Now ISO, when you're talking about photography, is very simple. It stands for International Standards Organization, and in the case of photography it's actually talking about light sensitivity. Now when you're talking about your ISO, it's really important to know that your ISO settings are going to affect the quality of your image probably more than any other setting that you have on your camera. So one thing to remember when you're looking at your shots is to try to keep your ISO as low as possible. Now the standards for most cameras is about 100 to 200 ISO depending on whether you're working with a Canon or a Nikon, although the industry standards right now are more or less around 100 for the lowest ISO setting. Now this is also going to be the least light sensitive setting on your camera. So you're not going to be getting as much light in with 100 ISO, but it's going to be the cleanest image. Now what happens is when you raise your ISO to, say for example 1600 or 3200 or even higher now, it's going to increase the sensitivity of your camera's sensor inside of it. So that's actually going to add grain to your image. That's actually electrical interference that's going to be impacting your quality of the image. So you can raise your image ISO or your camera's ISO sensitivity levels if you need to, but you want to try to keep it around 100 to 800 depending on your camera and the quality of the camera's sensor as well. Now with your ISO settings, this is not necessarily going to be something that you're going to want to play around with as far as your creative side. So for example, in our last video that we talked about aperture, and with aperture that's going to give you a difference in depth of field, and it's also going to allow you to control the ISO settings and your shutter speed as well. Now in our next video we're going to be talking about shutter speed. If you guys have any questions for me about ISO or aperture that we've already covered so far, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as we can. As always, be sure to check out BallardPhotoVideo.com, and this is Sam checking out.